we've got Labor up to 76, Coalition 57, 4 Greens and 12 others. 2 seats remain in doubt. The seat we've given away is Macnamara. Now, this has been a very complex count. Labor leads on first preferences, the Greens second and the Liberals third. If the Greens or the Liberals are in third place, Labor wins. But if Labor drop to third, they're in danger of losing. Now, on the ordinary votes, Labor was about... What the Commission had to do was do some preliminary counts to exclude the 4 lower placed candidates and then determine the order of these final 3. When they started to do that with the ordinary votes, Labor was 1,100 votes ahead of the Greens. Now, that lead has narrowed to about 400 in the progressive counting of postals and absence. But at the moment, they've counted 4,500 absence, and the Greens made up 400 votes, and there's only 1,000 left. They counted 3,000 declaration votes, and the Greens have made up 150. There's only 2,000 of those left at maximum, and there's some postals to come, which the Greens won't make up any further ground. So at most, there's only about 2,000 votes left, at most. And the Greens still need to make up 400 votes on Labor, and there just aren't enough votes left for them to do that. So we've been happy at this stage. We're confident that we can call that Labor will win Macnamara because Josh Burns isn't going to drop below the Greens during the distribution of preferences. There's some more counting to come, but that's just not going to turn around at this stage. So we've called Macnamara for the Labor Party. The 2 other seats then that remain in doubt is Gilmore on the south coast of New South Wales, where Andrew Constance, the former Transport Minister in New South Wales, is trying to move to federal parliament. Fiona Phillips is the Labor candidate. What's happened today is a 210-vote lead for the Liberals at the start of the day is now 140 votes behind. Labor's on 50.1, 2.5% swing. The absence and the pre-poll absence have been favouring Labor heavily, and that's most of what votes to come. So at the moment, Labor's moved ahead today, and if that trend continues, we'll probably stay ahead. But it's only 140 votes at this stage. And the other seat, which has been trending against Labor, it has narrowed today. And if you look at the 2-party preferred here, Michael Sukkar, the former Assistant Treasurer, he's on 50.3. That has narrowed to about 600, down from about 850 during the day. But the trend hasn't been strong enough, I think, to suggest that Labor can get ahead in this seat. So at the moment, I think this one will probably stay with the Liberal Party, and it looks like Gilmore is still a chance for Labor to get to 77, but we've been prepared to call Macnamara at this stage for the Labor Party, and Josh Burns has been re-elected.
Just on Macnamara, Anthony, it's 9 days since election night. This is tells you something about how close this race has been and how close the Greens have come to getting what would have been a 5th seat in Parliament. So it's potentially one to watch in the future as well.
Well, and what's happening is 10 years ago, the Greens were doing well in very safe Labor seats like Wills and Cooper, Melbourne. And what's happened since then is that the Liberals changed their attitudes on preferences and stopped directing preferences to the Greens, which made it much harder for the Greens to win those seats unless they get close to well over 40% in their own right. And in fact, they put their effort into some more marginal seats like Griffith and Brisbane and Ryan and Macnamara, which are more marginal, and they only have to get ahead of the Labor Party in the mid-20s to win. And that's what nearly happened in Macnamara and did happen in Brisbane and Griffith and Ryan. So it's been a change of strategy, and the Greens at this election have gained 3 seats in Brisbane, 2 of them from the LNP and 1 of them from the Labor Party. So the Greens are increasingly doing well. You can look at other seats they could win in the future. They've done very well in Richmond on the north coast of New South Wales. They hold one of the state seats in that part of town. So you'd expect that seat and Macnamara would be the 2 seats that come the next election. You'll see the Greens going very strongly on.
And Anthony, while Labor now have 76 seats in the Parliament, presumably they'll really be hoping to get one of those 2, Deakin or Gilmore, because while 76 is a majority, a Speaker still needs to be appointed, and that, if it's coming from Labor's numbers, would make the numbers very tight. I'm
certain that Anthony Albanese will be insisting that his Leader of the House treat the Parliament like they are in a minority, and they could always lose a member down the track. He was Leader of the House during the Gillard government when the member for DeBell, Shane Thompson, I think his name was, ran into problems and caused them great grief in a parliament that was very finely aligned. So the sensible thing for the government to do would be to treat the crossbench with respect, because you're going to have to live with them and potentially might be forced to deal with them in the future. So if they want to win the next election, you'd think they'd do everything they can to try and keep some of those crossbench members in those safe Liberal seats.